want to bring in the chairman of the board at the Family Research Council, former Congresswoman from Minnesota, Michele Bachmann. Michele, thanks so much for joining us.
Hello, Tony. Thanks. Good to be with you.
And, of course, Michelle's going to be a part of the Pray Vote Stand Summit. And I want to go to the issue of the kind of fragile peace agreement in Israel, between Hamas and Israel. It doesn't look like Hamas is going to go easy.
No, I don't think they're going to comply. I think they've made it clear they're belligerent right now about not complying. They won't return the corpses of the dead hostages. They refuse to demilitarize or de-radicalize. So I think we've been told what their position is. Therefore, it's almost like we skipped to the end of the agreement, and President Trump promised Israel that if Hamas wouldn't comply, they have the right to go in and to finish the war. So it almost feels in some ways that we're there, but I don't think so. I think the administration is going to demand that Hamas be given chances, and then we'll see what happens.
You know, listening from the very start of the agreement, Benjamin Netanyahu was very clear that they are not going to compromise on the security of the nation. They're not going to relive October the 7th.
That's right, nor should they. So I think, again, I'm of two minds about this. I really was opposed to the agreement when I first read it because it's doing exactly what the Bible forbids, and that's dividing the land of Israel. That has serious and profound consequences. But that hasn't happened yet. I don't know if it will. But the good news is we got all living hostage back. We're getting some of the deceased hostages back. We may get another 8 or 9 of those. But then I think the world is seeing this is who Hamas is. So there's no playing around about this. And especially when we're seeing Hamas killing their own people, and President Trump is weighing in on that.
Well, and where's the international community that's been criticizing Israel for what they call civilians? There's been many terrorists have been killed. The fighters have been killed. And the international community criticizing Israel for that collateral damage, but yet saying nothing as Hamas is killing people, executing people on the streets.
Well, yeah, and there's a phrase that says, no Jews, no news. So if media organizations can slam Israel, that's what they'll do. But the bad guys are Hamas. So does the media really want to show the bad guys that Hamas is? They're probably going to have to at a certain point. So I'm a little bit optimistic that Israel's going to be able to go in and finish the job, but under no circumstances should Qatar or Turkey or Egypt or Saudi Arabia get the ability to control Gaza.
What about, but they're already exerting control at the 2025 Gaza Peace Summit in Egypt. Erdogan, president of Turkey, objected to the presence of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and he was disinvited.
Well, but I think it's actually, I think probably the Prime Minister of Israel was happy to be disinvited, to not be there. I read that agreement that they signed, and it was like cotton candy. It was saying, you know, love, peace, tolerance, and sustainability is what it said. And so it was a great day where President Trump got to speak in the Knesset, and that was the real event. And then he went down to Egypt. And honestly, again, if people read what they signed, it doesn't bind anyone to anything. So I think it's still the jury is out, and I think God is going to have his way. He is the defender of Israel. I really believe Israel won that war with Gaza. They won it. They controlled 80% of the land. They won it. And so I think that my best hope is that they'll go back and they will control it, and they'll be in charge of the disposition of what happens. And actually, there's a fair amount of people who should be allowed to just leave and go elsewhere, not to the United States, but go elsewhere, you know, to other Muslim countries. And so I'm hoping that that'll happen. All
right, Michele, just a minute left. Talking about the Pray Vote Stand Summit here at Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. Why is it such a significant time for us to gather to pray, vote, and stand?
Well, because we know who we are. We are people of the living God. We believe in the power of prayer. We've seen the power of prayer working. Just the hostages coming home as answer to the prayer. But voting is extremely important. So when God's people show up, We see a completely different type of government, a godly government versus an ungodly government. And then when we stand, we are informed about the Word and we stand on the Word. That's our greatest strength. And I saw the protesters when I came in. I came in just a few minutes ago. They were out there. The police far outnumber them. And I almost felt sorry for them. They looked pathetic standing over there. They don't stand on the Word. They stand on lies.
We're going to pray for them, too.
Yes, that's right.
Michele, thanks for being here. Always great to see you.
Thank you.